It's a great day. My name is Trey Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Bahiyah. She's in the building. And you know what she's going to be talking about? You didn't start this business to lose it. Interesting. We'll find out. What's going on, Bahiyah? How you doing?
I am well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here. I certainly appreciate it. And thank you to viewers for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So thank you. You have a lot of choices. You're with us tonight. Before we get started, I know we'll get into, Bahiyah, your background, your bio, how famous you are. Some people have already read your bio. They've already Googled you. And so we'll get to that. But first, let's address the elephant in the room. We got this topic. You didn't start this business to lose it. This is a loaded question. It might be unfair, but I think it's a good question to start off with, which is, in today's world, why are so many businesses, according to the SBA office, still failing? I mean, they've got AI. So AI can tell them exactly what to do in their business. They shouldn't go to sleep at all. They've got YouTube. They can learn how to do anything on any given day. They've got Instagram to get motivated and fired up. Yet, what is it? 80% of all businesses fail in the first year. What's some of the reasons why, from your view of the world?
Well, I'll tell you this. That's a great question. And it's interesting that you mentioned AI as well as YouTube. We have a lot of business owners who refer to AI as well as YouTube. And I have to revert back to the phrase knowledge is power. However, it's really powerful when you apply what you learn. In the business that I have, I've noticed that the majority of businesses do not sustain past 10 years because they lack the financial resources to do so. So think about this. Now, the topic of this show, you didn't start this business to lose it, right? Which means that you started this business as a result of a passion or a hobby of yours. But the unfortunate part is when we start these business, we think a little bit about the operations and not about how we're going to fund said business in order to continue to move forward. So we may, look like the little engine that could and do well for the first year or so. But after a while, we start looking around and wondering how are we going to continue to fund this? So while we're looking at AI, we are looking at YouTube videos. It does not tell us the nitty gritty of what to do to move forward with the business as far as finances are concerned, of course. Sometimes we have information out there that it really is not going to benefit you, meaning how to apply for loans. There are so many different videos that I've seen even recently that certain gurus have gone out there to tell people how to do things and they have been misled, the unfortunate part. So when I say that knowledge is power and you need to make sure that it's applicable to, you definitely need to do your research in order to do that. But more importantly, surround yourself with individuals who have the resources to get you to the next level. So if we can look and see how we maintain our finances so that we do not go down the rabbit hole of losing what we work so hard for, we would do so much better.
When we talk about understanding your finances, and ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all wonder who is this person talking. Somebody said, Shay, I'm in the kitchen cooking. I have no idea who this person is, but I hear what she's saying. Someone else might be listening to us in the background, or maybe we're in the podcast. You're riding down the road, maybe you're heading to the gym. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. We appreciate you. We'll get into her backstory, get into her background in a moment. But you talked about they should understand and know what's going on in the business and know their numbers. Now, I'm going to raise my hand. I'll be the guilty one here because I know all y'all are perfect. What do you say to the person that's like, she's saying know your numbers, Shay, but what does know your numbers even mean these days? Can you take a moment and slow down? And from a person that's maybe the CEO, or a number of our folks are dualpreneurs. They work a full-time job and run corporations, and they're full-time entrepreneurs. So when you say know your numbers, can you do a little bit of deep dive in that so we can understand exactly what you're talking about there, or get a sense of what you're talking about?
Absolutely. I can break it down so it can forever be broken. Now, when I say know your
I like that.
when I say know your numbers, I mean everything from 1 to 100. So many individuals look and see what their bottom line is. And when I say bottom line is what is my net income? Then there are others that say I do not care about my net income. I want to know what the revenue is. Well, then there are others who say, well, I need to understand what my explicit cost is. And for business owners, your explicit cost means everything that is out of your pocket, literally and figuratively, to fund your business. So from payroll, office supplies, travel, gas, meals, so on and so forth. In order to understand your numbers, we need to first sit down. And I know there's this B word, and I'm not saying Bahiyah, but there's this B her word that is implemented in personal households as well as in your business, and it's budget. The first thing you need to do is sit down and think about what your budget looks like for your fiscal year. And a lot of people do not, believe it or not, they do not think about what that fiscal budget is. When I sit down with business owners and I ask them, how did they come up with these numbers? And they will say, it's in my head. But you need to translate you need to translate that onto paper. As wonderful as I think I am, I know I cannot read your mind. So transferring what is in your head onto your spreadsheet to create that budget. Now we're starting to gather all information, your revenue, your explicit costs, as well as your net income. That's going to be the first step of knowing your numbers. So with your revenue, where is your revenue coming from? Who are your clients? How often are you sending out invoices? The little things that matter, right, as a business owner. Not only am I sending out my invoices, what is my net term? Is it due upon receipt? Is it net 15? Is it 10? Is it 30? Am I applying late fees? Or am I just working just to work and they pay me whenever they want to? The unfortunate part is we have businesses that are like that. Then your next step is to look at your explicit costs. What are you actually spending within your business that's going to scale your business? And then last but not least, we know the bottom line. After your revenue, your revenue, then you subtract your explicit costs, your expenses, then you see what your bottom line is and what you're working with. Quite often, and I know you're going to read about who I am, and there are things that we discuss, not just your accounting, not only your analytics. We look at your investment strategies. And a lot of people misconstrue the investment strategies with solely investing in the stock market. I'm not talking about that as a business owner. What I'm speaking of is when it comes to your net income and you are looking at your investment strategy, how are you going to utilize your profit to make sure your business continue to scale and move forward? What are you investing in, literally as well as figuratively, in order to move forward with your business? And that's what I mean by knowing your numbers, not just your P&L, your profit and loss, also known as your income statement, but also what's on your balance sheet, right? Do you have any liabilities? What is your equity? What is your cash flow? Do you have working capital? What is your current ratio? And I know I'm throwing out some things. There's some business owners that are like, wait a minute, by here, slow down. You're saying a lot. I'm in the kitchen and I'm doing more than just cooking. I'm trying to listen too. But it's truly understanding what those numbers mean to you as a business owner, as well as your employees, your team. I mentioned your working capital. Can you pay your employees? What is your cost ratio? When I ask business owners about their cost ratios, they are like a deer in headlight. They're like, what are you talking about? Well, that number there would tell a lender when you're ready to move on and possibly start applying for loans, how well can you pay your short term debt? Those are little things that we need to think about. That we, again, we didn't work hard to lose this. So, understanding what your numbers mean is more than just, oh my goodness, as a business owner, I earned $100,000 this year. Did you really earn $100,000, or was that just the revenue that you brought in? It's a big difference.
It's a huge difference, and what you're saying is spot on. It's on point. And now I think it's a good time to kind of talk about who are you? I mean, as famous as you are all over the world, and shout out to Dr. Janelle Harvey for introducing us. There's somebody listening saying, "Shit, I don't know this person at all." So we'll slow down for a minute, and you know the question. They want to know who are you and your backstory, and obviously, what was that defining moment that you said, you know what, me helping entrepreneurs and business owners create wealth that leaves long after they're gone. What was that moment that you said, yeah, this is my jam? So here's the question, ladies and gentlemen, you might have been waiting for this. Who are you, Bahiyah, and what's your backstory?
Well, who am I? I am a community activist who loves numbers. I will tell you this. I mean, the backstory is huge, but just to give you a short story, my academia, I have a psychology and African studies bachelor's. I have my master's in business administration, doctorate in finance, doctorate in business administration, specializing in finance. I've done some of everything from teaching econ, which I do at times as well in a college here. And I do that for the representation. And I love teaching microeconomics to the students here and applying real life stories that are in their backyard for them to understand. But I'll tell you this, my academic background and my professional background married one another. And I feel as though the psychology in the business has a lot to do with ensuring that your companies are moving forward, for you to have an understanding of the thought process as well. As far as professional is concerned, I have worked with companies such as JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Amalgamated, the list goes on in various capacities. And I found that, I'll tell you this, initially, I did not want to go into, I had no desire to go into finance. Initially, I was pursuing my doctorate in neuropsychology. I finished psychology and I told my husband I wanted to pursue this. And he was like, okay, he's always been supportive, right? We've been married 31 years now, always been supportive of my goals. And once I got into the program, it was boring. Can I say that? It was really boring. And I took a step back to think about what is it that I truly want to do that would make an impact, not just with myself, but the community as well. And for some reason, I started getting into finance, and hence the master's, going backwards, earning the master's. And after I earned the master's, I remember having a conversation with my husband in 2008, and I said, "Well, I want to quit my job with JP Morgan Chase." And I was doing really well with JP Morgan Chase, and we had a great lifestyle. And of course, my husband was like, "Well, wait a minute. What about your income? Because now you're talking about being an entrepreneur. The income is not going to be consistent. What is your business plan?" And I'm like, well, let me show you. And I showed him, and then he challenged me and said, well, what is your contingency plan in case that doesn't work out? Now, my mindset is, how dare you speak that upon my goals? It's going to work out. Unbeknownst to me, it started working out. Then I had to scale back. Then I had to move forward again. So I had a lot of moments that I had to take a step back to think about my future. But I will tell you this, being heavily involved in the community, and it's not just with my company, but in multiple organizations, Urban League, even recently, I've been with them for almost a decade now, about 8 years. And we started an entrepreneurship program last year to educate business owners in the three counties that we serve. And anytime, in addition to that, a whole list of organizations that I'm involved in. If you were to read my bio, from Greek life, being a Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, all the way down to local organizations here, my ultimate goal is to ensure that I educate those around me. And whatever I know, I share with you. And it starts with understanding who you are, what your goals are, as well as what do you want to do with your life. And writing down those steps to actually implement. And anytime I can talk about finances, I am going to do it. As a former financial advisor, over, as well as working in retail financial services and in investments. I make sure that everything I learned throughout the years are applied to your business. So I sit down with you as a business owner, and our finance team to educate you as well. But that's where it started. I mean, just to put myself in a ball as to describe who I am in one word, an advocate.
An advocate, but that end of the day, the transformations you create is folks can have the financial resources they need to support the causes they believe in. And boy, how powerful is that? You know, as you're talking to
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs, there's a number of folks that are listening saying, wow, Shay, if I'm starting from ground zero, as someone who hasn't really been investing, but I'm interested, what are maybe 3 steps that I could do to get started? And here's the good news. Anyone listening out there, by the way, you can get started on this because you didn't start this business to lose it. You start this business to grow, to impact other folks, but to be profitable first and then impact the rest of the world. So if you had to give 3 steps and to folks, I know it's kind of unfair to ask you to only give 3 steps, but then say, hey, here's something that you can do so that you can at least put yourself in a better position tomorrow. What would you say to entrepreneurs watching right now?
So, entrepreneurs watching right now, the 3 steps that you can take as far as investing. The first thing is, as I said before, write down exactly what you want. And I know that's so cliche. It really is. But if you do not write it down, how would you remember? How will you know? You need to make sure that you are able to stay focused. So the first step, write everything down. And when I say write it down, be very detailed. And I mean by this, I'll give you an example. If a business owner come to me and say that I want to earn 6 figures in 2 years, that is so vague. What are your steps that you're going to take? And what is 6 figures? I want to earn $250,000 in 24 months by acquiring 10 clients that will produce X amount of dollars. So you really have to make sure that you are writing this down. Why do you do that? Because it's going to allow you to take those steps to measure, right, that timeline. So that's the first thing, to write it down. The second thing is to be obsessed with your numbers. And I don't mean obsessed as in losing sleep over it, but at least once a week, make an effort to pull up your financial reports. And there are some business owners who are listening to this show that are saying, well, everything's in my head. I do not have any financial reports. I do not have a P&L. I do not have a balance sheet. I do not have a cash flow. Half the time, I don't even use an Excel spreadsheet. You must. You must. If you're going to scale your business or invest in your business, you have to make sure that you're looking at your numbers every week because it tells a story. Hence, Decimalytics, the name of our financial firm. It means an interpretation and meaningful pattern of numbers. It tells you everything that you need to do. So, the third thing is to implement. Implement exactly what it is that you want to do with your business. And when I say implement, that means without any excuses. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? Shay, that is so important as a business owner for us to believe in ourselves. And those are the very 3 simple, without getting very trivial during this time, to invest in yourself to move forward.
Simple yet very, very powerful. And here's the good news, ladies and gentlemen. She didn't say you had to go buy a new computer. She didn't say you had to go get a new app. She didn't say you had to go hire a coach. She said, hey, here's some things that you can do so you can control the controllables. And so you can certainly control knowing your numbers. That's in a good note, that's within your control that you can do. It's a good segue, I believe, to a segment that we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. In fact, you might even wait to say those magical words every day. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you. Doesn't that feel so good? And for all the new folks who are joining for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. We're glad you're here. You have a lot of choices, but you're here. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny the past is, the past really no longer equals the future. And so my question for Bahiyah on the other side is really twofold. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, maybe her life's been perfect. We're going to find out. What was a setback or a challenge you had in your life, and what did you do to come back from it?
Oh my goodness. I had to take the glasses off when you said January 1st because because there are so many January 1st. I am far from perfect. I've been a business owner since 2008 and I've had many January 1st. So if I could let me take a moment and actually think about this. So of course, based on your question, my January 1st wasn't on the calendar, right? And I remember sitting at my desk, knee deep in work, juggling client calls, prepping for a podcast that I also have, looking at grad school deadlines, and just feeling empty. I mean, truly empty, if I can be transparent. And I was successful according to the world standards because many people, oh, by him, you're doing well. I know you are. Yes, but I was not aligned with my own success. And that's when I realized that I wasn't building a life, I was maintaining a machine. So I reset. I had to redefine what success looked like for me. And I focused on high impact work and started saying no to things and yes to what really mattered to me. And that moment was my internal January 1st. And it was the start of building not just for income, but for impact. I really had to make sure that I reset. So I took a moment to rest, I reflect, I rebuild, but I never ever retreated. And that to me was very important for my January 1st.
Thanks for being so authentic and being so transparent. We appreciate that. And one of the questions I like to ask whenever we have time, we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice maybe you've ever been given? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to frame it for us so I understand, we're going to ask to come off the mountain with the 10 commandments here. Okay. But if you had to step back, you've had more mentors than you could probably recall these days. Certainly have read more books than I'm sure you can remember, and, attended a number of seminars and do trainings and 10,000 hours. I mean, what a joke now. You can do that on the weekend with your thumb, right? So if you had to
Right.
step back and say, here's one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given, what would it be and why?
Do not compare myself to anyone else. And, and,
Interesting.
and I would tell you this because the way social media is, the way we look at others and see them on social media and to view their success, we do not know what's behind closed doors. We do not know what they have to endure when it comes to business, whether individuals are sole entrepreneurs and that's exactly what they do, or dualpreneurs where they're managing a 9 to 5 and getting into the business atmosphere. Because for me, I'm not one of those individuals that say, oh, if you're going to start a business, you have to leave your 9 to 5, or um, no one should have a 9 to 5. Everyone should be an entrepreneur. No, you have to do what's best for you. There are a lot of people who start out with 9 to 5s, and I tell them all the time, let your 9 to 5 finance your dreams of starting a business. So for me, my best advice was do not compare yourself to anyone else. And by me adopting that mentality, I was able to move forward and continue to move forward with the goals that I set out for myself. And I truly write them down. If I were to show you my calendar, yes, I'm old school, not electronic. I still have the paper, which annoys my assistant because he does not know what I'm doing at half the time. But I really have to measure my success based off of where I feel I should be and what I've accomplished. Many times I have to sit back in my office and say, Bahia, you're doing it. You really are doing it. It doesn't matter that someone started, after you or doing what you're doing, and they may appear to be ahead of you. What is it that you want to do? You have 25 employees. You have never missed the payroll. You even go home in the evening to prepare meals for your family every single day. You are doing it. When you feel like you need to take a step back just to calm down and just take a moment to see what's going on, to figure it out, you're doing it. So my biggest and best advice that I ever received was, do not compare yourself to anyone. And because of that, I don't stress myself out about it at all. I just applaud myself for what I've written down with that timeline and have accomplished it. And I want others to do that as well. Being a business owner is no joke. It will test you, as the kids would say, it will test your gangster. But I, you really have to make sure that you're doing what's best for you and not compare yourself to other people, because you never know who's comparing themselves to you either.
So true. I mean, spot on. So true, by the way. When you're not out saving the world, helping businesses stay in business and be profitable, and you're not changing lives, what do you do for fun these days? What does fun look like for you?
Do we have time? So
And she lights
yes,
up real
yes.
fast.
Well, I'm going to tell you, because I'm not the typical um 20 hours a day doing work all the time. I will tell you this, my hobbies, I love to box. I grew up boxing.
Okay.
Not kickboxing, I mean true boxing. I box, I lift weights, I love to play flag football. I hang out with my family, with my friends, anything that's relaxing. And I will tell you this, like I said before, I make sure in the evenings I'm at home with my family eating a meal. I love to cook. And I'm plant based. I have not eaten meat or anything like that since 1995. So
Wow.
there are no eggs, no cheese, no dairy, no meat, no fish, no chicken in my household. And I enjoy making meals with love. People ask me, "What did you put in this?" First ingredient, love. When someone
Mm.
comes over, or my husband, my family, my son, he they eat a meal and I just see them light up. It's just the fact that I am able to do everything I want to do. Because believe it or not, when I was younger, I thought to myself, I either will have to be someone in business, or I'm not going to have a family, right? And I'm being very transparent. I didn't think I could do it both. I saw my mom and my dad, they were together, and she had her role. My dad had his role. They made it work. But in the back of my mind, I felt that I had to choose. But when I became an adult, I said, there's no reason for me to choose. I can have everything I put my mind to. And that right there is success. And again, my success does not look like someone else's success. Someone may frown upon the fact that I go home every evening just to prepare a home cooked meal. But to me, having my family together is successful, as well as running this business. So let's have
Well
fun.
said. I love it. I love it. And kickboxing for fun. Whoa. I mean, boxing, not kickboxing. Boxing. We're talking about real boxing, sweating, getting in there, by the way. That's so interesting. As we come down the
Thank
home stretch, we got to have you back. But as we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any? So I'm not sure if your firm's taking on any clients. And number two, where can they connect with you? They're like, hey, I like what I'm hearing. I need to stay in this conversation. I need more. Where can I go? Is there a website? Like, how do I stay connected with her, Shay?
you.
Please go ahead and share with the audience.
Great question. So, yes, we're always taking on clients, and we are B2B, so business to business. And we specialize in accounting, analytics, economic research, as well as investment strategies. So, we're located in Indiana. However, we have clients as well as employees throughout the United States, Canada, Venezuela, Kenya, and India. And if you need anything related to finance, we can be your finance team. You can find us across the globe. Social media, Decimalytics, D as in David, Ecimalytics. So that is our website, www.decimalytics.com. We're also on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. We are on Twitter as well as Facebook. And you can find me as well, Bahiyah Shabazz. B as in beautiful, AHIYAH, B as in beautiful, AZZ. So if you're a business owner, you can reach out to us, ask questions, just to inquire is complimentary, just to see if it's a good fit with one another and all the things that we do. So, but yeah, most definitely check us out on the website.
Wow. Well, let me say two things. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. Can't wait to connect with you again soon.
Thank you.
And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because, well, without you, well, we don't have a show, by the way. So we appreciate you. You have a lot of choices and you choose to be with us. And I never get tired of reminding you, every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're doing very, very well and you're going to that next level of joy and happiness, or you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming. The one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. Because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. It hasn't changed. The Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. We'll make some good things out. We connect again next time. God bless and keep doing God's work. Peace. We out.